When you buy something out of boredom or just to impress others, money is using you. But when you spend on something that truly adds value to your life or helps you serve others better, you are using money. The Stoics had a powerful idea called preferred indifference. Some things are nice to have, but they never define your worth or happiness. Money belongs in that category. It is better to have than not have, but it should never become your master. Now pause for a moment and think about your last impulse purchase. You know the one. Probably sitting in use somewhere in your house right now. In that moment of buying, what were you really trying to purchase? Was it the item itself? Or were you chasing a feeling? Status, comfort, excitement, or acceptance? Here is a simple practice that can completely change your relationship with money. Before any non-essential purchase, stop and ask yourself one honest question. What am I really trying to buy here? If the answer is a feeling or an experience, find a way to create that feeling without spending money first. Go for a walk. Call a friend. Move your body. Take a deep breath. More often than not, you will realize you never needed the purchase at all. But true money mastery goes far beyond controlling spending. It is about generating value. The Stoics believe deeply in contributing to the common good. When you focus on serving others through your work, money becomes a natural byproduct instead of the main goal. This shift in perspective changes everything about how you earn and how you spend. When you wake up and see your work as service rather than just a way to make money, something powerful happens. You bring more care, more discipline, more excellence, and that inevitably leads to greater financial rewards. Here is what changed my entire financial life. I started tracking not just where my money went, but how I felt after every purchase. I made 3 simple columns: purchase, reason, feeling after. What I discovered surprised me. The purchases that brought lasting satisfaction were always aligned with my values. Books that expanded my mind, experiences with loved ones, tools that helped me serve others better. But impulse buys, status purchases, and emotional spending almost always left me feeling empty or regretful. This simple practice gave me clarity about my habits that no budgeting app ever could. Money mastery also means understanding the difference between building and draining your life. Every dollar you spend should either protect your ability to earn more or increase your capacity to help others. When you start thinking this way, you naturally begin building wealth instead of just consuming. And remember, the goal is not to hoard money. The goal is freedom. Freedom to be generous. Freedom to take smart risks. Freedom to make decisions based on what is right, not just what you can afford. Now we arrive at the 4th principle. Master your mind. The command center. Your mind is like a garden. Every thought you allow to stay is a seed you are planting. The only real question is this: what kind of harvest do you want? Right now, as you listen to this on Stoicism Breath, thousands of thoughts are competing for your attention. Worries about tomorrow, regrets from yesterday, judgments about what you are hearing, plans for later today. Most people live their entire lives as passive observers of this mental chaos, never realizing they have the power to choose which thoughts deserve their energy. True wealth is not about having many possessions. It is about having fewer ones. And that applies just as much to your mind as it does to your wallet. When you stop entertaining every thought that knocks on the door of your consciousness, you become incredibly rich in peace and focus. Think about this. You would never allow strangers to walk into your home and rearrange your furniture. Yet every day, you allow random thoughts to walk into your mind and rearrange your entire emotional state. Real mastery begins when you take back control of that inner space. Stay with Stoicism Breath, because this is where self-mastery truly begins. One single negative thought can derail your entire day if you give it permission to stay. The ancient Stoics had a powerful practice called prosok. It means constant awareness of the present moment and careful monitoring of your thoughts. It is not meditation the way we usually think about it today. It is more like becoming a security guard for your own mind. You decide which thoughts are allowed in and which ones get turned away. Here is a simple exercise from Stoicism Breath that can change your life starting today. For the next week, every time you notice yourself falling into a negative thought spiral, stop for a moment and ask yourself 2 questions. Is this thought helping me or hurting me? Is it moving me closer to the person I want to become or farther away? If the thought is not serving you, consciously replace it with one that does. This is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about choosing productive thoughts over destructive ones. Instead of saying this is terrible and there is nothing I can do, try saying this is challenging and I will find the best way forward. Same situation. Completely different inner experience. Your life does not change first. Your thinking does. One Stoic emperor once wrote that the universe is change, and our life is what our thoughts make it. He understood something deeply important. He could not control enemies, politics, or even his own mortality. But he had full authority over his inner world. You do too. Your mind is constantly telling stories about what things mean. Someone does not smile at you and your mind creates a story about rejection. Traffic is heavy and your mind creates a story about being late and everything going wrong. Your boss asks to see you and your mind creates a story about being in trouble. But here is your power. You can rewrite these stories in real time. That person who did not smile might be dealing with something painful. Heavy traffic can become time to breathe or listen to something meaningful. Your boss calling you in might actually be good news. The Stoics practice something called the discipline of judgment. It means separating facts from the stories we attach to those facts. A fact is it is raining. A story is this rain is ruining my day. When you learn this difference, you become incredibly powerful. Your emotional state stops being controlled by outside events. Try this right now. Think of something that has been stressing you lately. Now separate the actual facts from the story you are telling yourself about those facts. Most of your stress does not come from reality. It comes from interpretation. Your mind is also an incredible problem-solving machine when you give it clear direction. Instead of asking what if everything goes wrong, ask what is the best way to handle this situation. Your mind loves challenges. It just needs leadership from you. Remember this. Every thought you think is either building the person you are becoming or tearing that person down. You are literally thinking yourself into existence every moment of every day. This is why mastering your mind is the final and most powerful step. Stay with Stoicism Breath and remind yourself daily. I am the architect of my mind. I choose my thoughts. I claim my power. Section 5. The Ripple Effect. How Mastery Transforms Everything. There is something powerful that happens when you begin mastering these 4 areas of your life. They do not change separately. They create a ripple effect that transforms your entire experience. It is like tuning a musical instrument. When one string is perfectly tuned, all the others begin to sound better too. When you master your mouth, people start listening more closely. Your words carry calm, clarity, and wisdom. When you master your mood, you become the steady center others lean on during chaos. When you master your money, you gain the freedom to make decisions based on values, not survival. And when you master your mind, you begin seeing opportunities where others see only problems. But the real magic happens in the space between these pillars. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was a single mother who joined one of our Stoicism Breath workshops last year. She arrived overwhelmed, deep in debt, snapping at her kids, constantly worried about the future. Her mind was stuck in negative loops that kept her awake at night. 6 months later, she sent me a message that changed everything. She had paid off her credit cards. She had started a small side business. Her relationship with her children had transformed because she learned to speak from love instead of frustration. But the most powerful part was this. She said, "I finally feel like myself again, calm, confident, in control." This is the beauty of Stoic wisdom. It creates what psychologists call an upward spiral. Each small victory gives you confidence to face the next challenge. When you control your words in a heated moment, you prove you can control your emotions. When you resist an impulse purchase, you strengthen the same mental muscle that helps you resist negative thoughts. Mastery compounds. Every day of practice does not just improve today. It makes every future day easier. Think about who you were 6 months ago. What were you struggling with back then? Now imagine who you could become 6 months from now if you applied these principles consistently. The gap between who you are and who you could be is not as wide as you think. It is simply a series of small daily choices. Here is something important to remember. You do not need to master all 4 areas at once. Trying to do everything perfectly often leads to frustration and quitting. Instead, choose one area that speaks to you right now. Just one. Focus on it for the next 30 days. Let mastery in that area naturally influence the others. The Stoics believed in something called interconnectedness. Everything inside you affects everything around you. When you speak more thoughtfully, your relationships become calmer. When you manage your emotions, your home becomes more peaceful. When you handle money wisely, your stress decreases. When you guide your mind, your entire life feels lighter. Your inner work does not stop with you. It spreads outward. And that is the ripple effect. Stay with Stoicism Breath. One small decision today can change everything tomorrow. When you handle money wisely, you teach your children responsibility without saying a word. When you guide your thoughts in a constructive way, you become someone who brings solutions instead of problems. But the deepest ripple effect of all is how mastery changes your relationship with difficulty itself. Instead of seeing challenges as things that happen to you, you begin to see them as training. Every hard conversation becomes a chance to practice control over your words. Every stressful moment becomes an opportunity to master your mood. Every financial choice becomes practice for wisdom with money. Every worry becomes a signal to redirect your mental energy. This single shift, from victim to practitioner, changes everything about how you experience life. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you start asking, "How can this make me stronger?" We began this journey with Epictetus, a man who rose from physical slavery to become a teacher of inner freedom. His secret was not changing his circumstances. His secret was mastering himself inside those circumstances. Today, you have the same choice he made more than 2,000 years ago. You now understand that real freedom is not about unlimited options. It is about making the right choices consistently. You have learned that your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind are not separate parts of life. They are connected pillars that either support your growth or quietly pull you backward. But remember this most of all. This is not about being perfect. It is about being intentional. Every time you pause before speaking, you are training mouth mastery. Every time you choose how to respond to a difficult emotion, you are building mood mastery. Every time you align your spending with your values, you are developing money wisdom. Every time you redirect a negative thought, you are strengthening your mental sovereignty. The ancient Stoics lived through wars, plagues, political chaos, and personal loss. Their lives were not easy. But they had something better. They had unshakable inner strength. And that same strength is available to you right now. Your transformation begins with one decision. The decision to take responsibility for your inner world. Not because life is fair. Not because it is easy. But because you deserve to live as the master of your own experience, not as a victim of circumstances. 6 months from now, you will either be the same person with the same struggles, or you will be someone who moves through life with clarity, intention, and inner power. The choice is yours. And the time to make it is now. Remember the words of Epictetus. No one can hurt you without your permission. Today, you take that permission back. Today, you move from reaction to response. From chaos to control. From inner slavery to inner freedom. The 4 pillars of mastery are waiting for you. Your future self is counting on you. And here at Stoicism Breath, we walk this path with you. Take the first step. Start today. Start now. Today I choose mastery over mediocrity. Intention over reaction. Freedom over surrender. This is your moment.